Welcome back to coverage of the Neon Dynasty Championship. We are going to jump into game number 3 between Jonny Guttman and Yudai Miyano. This is Yudai's very first championship. Says he was very nervous, didn't expect to make it, but he's doing very, very well for himself here. Jonny Guttman, fellow Canadian, and rocking good old mono white up against Esper Clerics.
Yeah, like many of the first-time championship competitors, Yudai was on that team with Andrea Mengucci and Eli Loveman, but where most of those team members played mono white aggro, Yudai brought this Esper Clerics list, one of the only two people in the field to bring Clerics this weekend.
I love it. This list is super spicy. We should see some fun stuff happening here. So let's take a look at the opening hands, see if he's happy with this. I bet he would love a couple of 2-drops there, considering this deck plays pretty low to the ground, but, you know, some good 3-drops there. Elite Spellbinder, being able to copy that, or Skyclave Apparition. But as I say 2-drop, on time arrives good old Voice of the Blessed.
Yeah, and we are joining this game in game 3, so we haven't taken a look at how the players sideboarded, but I would guess that Yudai is a bit more prepared for creatures here in this third game. We do see Voice of the Blessed off the top, but already has that Skyclave Apparition in hand that can do such a great job of shutting down some of these aggressive starts from mono white.
Forsaken Crossroads, taking a scry. Gonna send that Clearwater Pathway to the bottom.
Yeah, it takes a moment to think about it. That is a blue source that would have been helpful, considering I believe that Forsaken Crossroads had to come down on white, but you don't really want a 5th land in this spot unless you draw it naturally, so not in a position where you can comfortably keep that pathway on top.
Yeah, it's also a little unfortunate. Hengegate Pathway could be the other blue source, but, you know, ideally you'd like to get Voice of the Blessed down.
And that's why you see Yudai actually taking a moment to pause here, because you could play Shatter Sanctum here, sacrifice the ability to play a 2-drop like Voice of the Blessed on this turn in order to have all of your mana for the following turn. So it's a question of, do you sacrifice this game plan of trying to get on the board in a timely manner in order to have access to that Mimic? And as good as that would be, I think that would be too much of a cost to pay against this sort of aggressive white strategy here where you're already on the draw.
Portable Hull, a great answer here to Voice of the Blessed. So this guy, he's not going to get any counters on him anytime soon. And there is a Sigardian Evangel as a follow-up. Unfortunately, won't be able to take advantage of the second copy, and that's just going to end up in the graveyard.
Yeah, you would love to be able to get more copies with Sigardian Evangel, but again, this deck is all about curving out right now, so you really don't want to sacrifice that ability in order to, you don't want to not play something in order to have more plays later.
Elite Spellbinder able to take a look in hand and see the woes that are approaching. And Adeline Resplendent Cathar is an excellent draw here, as I would be surprised to see both these creatures just swing in here.
Yeah, I think Jonny prioritizing damage and throwing the aspirant essentially away here, saying if you want to get rid of this, you'll have to take 5 damage, makes a lot of sense. And already we sort of see the pressure mounting here from Jonny Guttman. Next turn is going to look pretty good for Yudai. Does have access to Apparition or Spellbinder plus Portable Hole to deal with the remaining 2-drop, which is why I think we saw him trade off with the Sigardian Evangel rather than the Aspirant this turn.
Yeah. Just keep the life total a little bit padded. Elite Spellbinder is going to take care of the second copy of Inquisitor Captain. No 4th land as of yet for Jonny Guttman, but does have a Skyclave Apparition to deal with one of these pesky permanents on the battlefield. And there is land number 4.
And pretty relevant, this is one of the odd games where, because of Igandro's inclusion in this white deck, the mono white aggro deck actually isn't able to activate their Faceless Haven yet. Still needs one more snow source. So still a little short of doing everything they want, but this is working out okay at the moment for Yudai.
I don't know. Looks pretty scary here if I'm Yudai. There's a bunch of dudes on this battlefield. Adeline is just going to get bigger and bigger.
Well, you
Well,
have the
until the Skyclave
Skyclave.
apparitions come down.
Right, you have Skyclave and you have Glassful Mimic, and you know your opponent's empty-handed. So now you get to get rid of Eileen, and you have blockers for this board. You have Apparition to block the 1/1 token, or the Aspirant. You have Spellbinder to trade with either of the bigger creatures. And most importantly, you have that Glassful Mimic and now a second Apparition in hand. So I think this is still a position where Yudai can pretty easily stabilize if Jonny continues to draw blanks. These Inquisitor captains have been locked firmly away, and trading off this apparition is a little awkward as you're giving your opponent a 3/3 token that you can't then Skyclave apparition away. So I don't know if I love that particular trade from Yudai, as that can be a considerable threat that you can't deal with.
On the end step, Luminarch Aspirant. The rebalanced one is going to put a counter on the 2/2, oh, excuse me, on the 1/1 human. And here comes Pyre of Heroes. Unfortunately, no targets for it right now to go and fetch something cooler from the library.
Yeah, Pyre of Heroes, one of the coolest aspects of this Esper Clerics deck, giving it an almost birthing pod feel, but unfortunately Skyclave Apparition is not a cleric, it's a core spirit, so not really sharing types with many of the creatures in the deck, so it can almost feel like it is the odd creature out in this deck, not able to start this sort of this pod chain.
Yeah. Another awkward draw here for Jonny Guttman. Another portable hole. It can nab that little illusion on the other side of the battlefield, but no answer as yet for the Skyclave apparition. Now, let's see how Yudai wants to block here. If he values keeping that Skyclave apparition alive, values getting rid of this 3/3.
I think Jonny will certainly want to fire off this portable hole to get rid of that Pyre of Heroes. That's one of the only ways Yudai can get back into this game at this point, so you don't want him to stick around with that. Has the other portable hole for something pesky, like this Lunarch veteran off the top, but this is definitely a position where Jonny feels really good considering that Skyclave Apparition doesn't have good blocks right now, and when it dies, it's just going to provide Jonny with another 2/2.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Glasspool Mimic is going to hit the battlefield here. Another copy of Skyclave Apparition, courtesy thereof. And Portable Hole with the Pyre is gonna get got, but unfortunately for Yudai, there is another one ready and waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to see Yudai get their Voice of the Blessed back. I don't know if Pyre of Heroes is doing enough in this position, and Voice of the Blessed with the Lunarch veteran on the battlefield would have at least been able to start growing. But as things stand, you're at 7, and you're facing down considerable pressure from this mono-white deck.
So Faceless Haven's going to get in here for some punchies, and the two Skyclave Apparitions are going to jump in the way here. Not the greatest trade for Guttman, but there is another creature off the battlefield, and he's just going ham. He's just like, right, your face is the place, and I am swinging for it.
It really needs an Inquisitor captain. That's a huge draw there from Yudai Miyano, as that is one way to try to get back into this game. And you find a Skyclave Apparition as well. That is massive now, because Jonny has nothing in hand. Yudai has gotten their Pyre of Heroes back. Their life total is semi-stable, but Skyclave Apparition will once again change things. But as things stand, this isn't over.
I don't think I've seen this many Skyclave Apparitions cost in quick succession before. It's incredible.
It's been a while, for sure.
Yeah.
Really haymakers being drawn from both players, and I think for Jonny, one of the things that he has to be thinking about is, if I exile this Inquisitor captain, I may be putting myself in a position where if my opponent deals with my Skyclave Apparition, I'll be giving them a 4/4 token that is bigger than my entire board. So that is one of the awkward moments here, and instead of opting for the Pyre, I like that a lot. It doesn't play immediately to the board, but it's more playing to win this game in a few turns. One thing that Jonny has to look forward to is Yudai isn't in any position to threaten him. So he can sit back a bit, develop his ward, either go wide, or if he finds a couple of lands, Inquisitor captains are going to be huge.
Yeah, and having these 2 Inquisitor captains of his own stuck in exile, courtesy of Halo. Archon of Emeria is the play for this turn, has only 4 manas available to Guttman at this point still. Now, I was just going to ask, where are the flyers? And there's one of them, so this could have gotten the game won. But, still
Voice
things
of
to
the
be done
Blessed is
yet,
back.
as we're just going to start gaining life and putting counters on dudes.
Yeah, this is the power of the Clerics deck once it gets the ball rolling, and one of the reasons why you saw Jonny so heavily prioritize making sure that Pyre of Heroes doesn't stay on the battlefield.
Yeah,
Autumn, you like to see that.
You do, you do. I wish Jonny had kept that Faceless Haven. I know that he was just trying to get the game done and over. But this would have been a captain on this turn, alas.
He still has time. That's the one
Yeah.
good thing at the moment. He has this flyer, so he could get 2 damage across and hope that Yudai doesn't top deck a Cleric here, which, you know, the deck is full of them, so it isn't a great hope, but it is certainly possible. And Jonny's not in the worst position. It's just that he needs to find something really fast at the same time that Yudai misses.
I also don't want this here Voice of the Blessed to get 4 counters on it, because then it's going to start
Ooh,
flying.
that's an Inquisitor captain. That's more triggers. It could be a Skyclave apparition, but I don't think we're in the market for a Skyclave apparition, Ailey. I think we want a captain.
I don't think it works anymore, because you have to cast captain to get the...
But you are casting the captain. Glasspool Mimic is still being cast from hand. They did rebalance it, so you can't use captain to get a Mimic out of your deck and chain
and keep that
but
chain
it
going,
still works out of the hand, and this is pretty huge here from Yudai Miyano, as this Inquisitor captain, and you can get a flying blocker for this Archon. Oh, this is huge. This game is completely turning around right now.
I think this advantage bar needs to swing it
is swinging. This Voice of the Blessed has flying, it has vigilance, it's an 8/8, and you have a second legendary land. I think we're gonna need to see Jonny use that Gargantuan play and replace it with the second one just to get an Inquisitor captain cast, because where you were ahead before, you are significantly behind now.
Yeah. He needs to find one of his removal spells here to deal with this Voice of the Blessed, because that thing, that is gonna eat your face off.
The top of the deck has been extremely kind to Yudai Miyano in the last few turns, as this game looked pretty close to unwinnable in my opinion, and you know, certainly Jonny not being able to draw anything has contributed to that, but the fact that we're in this position now where 3 turns ago it seemed unfathomable is just incredible.
All right, Jonny. Time is running out, my friend. Let's see what you got up your sleeve here. This board on the other side of the battlefield is terrifying.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's mostly one card that is terrifying, the Voice of the Blessed, but it is a very, very terrifying card.
This is making me nervous. Ooh. Okay.
I'm not sure about this one, Jonny. Yeah, just throw away the Lunarch Veteran. You can always disturb it from the graveyard, and that feels pretty good.
Yep, just comes back as a little flyer.
Yeah, it's captain time.
Yeah,
and
let's do it.
You need a Skyclave. I don't know how many are left in the stack.
Oh no, he doesn't have enough. Too many things have been exiled.
Ah, that is why he's thinking so long about it, and Ailey, if these captains aren't able to get Johnny back in this game, I don't know if anything can, because there's more clerics being drawn, and oh, this is the pain train coming.
Oh yeah, choo choo, take 9. Down to 3 goes Jonny Guttman. Yudai Miyano is looking poised to pick up the victory here with this Esper Clerics deck. Johnny was so close.
It's not enough.
Mm-mm.
There is 3 flyers on the side of that battlefield, and all Yudai needs to do is attack with everything, and that is not even everything, just the flyers, and that is going to be the game. Oh. I cannot believe it. This Esper Clerics deck just drew all the right things over those sequence of turns to get this game.
That was so cool. Because I got a 13-13. Congratulations.